Good morning. Testing, testing, testing. Hello. It's Matt Morgan coming at you. How's everybody doing today? I know, for me personally, I know for you, it's just another episode, but for me personally, it has been a bit. It has been a bit. Um, Kind of not done some early mornings for a while because of life. But yeah, it's been a bit. Today, I'm going to try to figure out exactly what I want to talk about. I mean, there's so much I can repeat, but, I'm pretty sure it gets a little annoying hearing similar things over and over again. But let's just put it this way. Let's start with something on this. And I hope everybody's doing well. The world's still a crazy place, and still got to make some crazy decisions. But let's just talk about a few things. One thing I want to talk about is perception, right? Perception is a big thing. A lot of people don't know what perception is, right? They hear the word, they're like thinking a million different things. Perception is basically the viewpoint of a person from where they're seeing a particular situation or set of circumstances. It's perception. It's perceiving something. It's the visual of how a situation is from a different viewpoint, etc., etc., etc. So perception is an interesting thing because it's like it's kind of people get missed about it. Like two people could be standing looking at the same view from the same angle from the same street corner, and with their mindset, what's going on in the world, they're actually seeing visually the same thing you're seeing if you're standing beside them, but they're seeing it completely different, and that's their perception. Like an incident could happen where one's thinking that somebody did something wrong, and the other person is thinking somebody did something right. It really all depends on their perception. But there's some situations, perception-wise, that I think some people are just oblivious to things. Like, for instance, there's some stuff that's like right in your face, and they don't really realize, and they don't. It's like they don't connect the dots. And I sit there and I go, how? And one of the biggest things I'm realizing is when it comes to community, as they say. Community sounds like such a nice word, right? It's along the lines of communism, but community, basically everybody coming together, commune together, you know, essentially to help each other. So community is an interesting thing. If you think about that word, it's a very interesting thing. But not everybody has community. And if people get together in large groups from different demographics, it's usually perceived in a very negative sense because of, past things. But it's amazing when I find people are just oblivious to things. And I'll give you an example. I changed gears into a different career where it's very much people oriented, where I need to find more people to sign up as clients via leads, everything else. So the thing is that in order to do so, I have to go out and seek people. I have to meet and greets, all that stuff. And it's a lengthy process and everything, especially when no one else is, knocking on your door or they're coming to bat for you or, pushing people your way. It's frustrating. But if you had a community based on either, demographic, where you're from, your country of origin, region of origin, religion, faith, whatever, it's a lot easier because, okay, you're a like-minded individual. We have this connection. We have this common point. Boom, just based on that, I don't know you from a hole in the ground, but I'm going to help you out. Okay, great. Doesn't make sense, but okay, you're going to come to bat for me. You don't know me, but okay. Thank you very much for coming to bat for me and coming to help me out. And it's interesting because, and I see that a lot with people just from regions. And I'll give you an idea. The Chinese. I've had a love-hate relationship with the Chinese for a while. Um, on the political scene, more of a hate. On people scene, a love. It's back and forth because they're not all equal, but they are not all like. It's a shame that I've had some bad experiences because of all the good experiences I've had, involved with people of Chinese backgrounds. But one thing I do realize is community, very much for the power of the Chinese. If you are Chinese and you're in business, guess what? Chances are you're going to be successful because the fact that you are in a business, starting a business, and you need people. People's one thing that in that particular culture, a particular demographic can do, right? Easily, easily. If they can throw anything else at you, they can throw people at you as customers or clientele. Now, I've had some people, that talked about, oh, I had this, I had that struggle and everything else, finding people, finding customers, finding clientele, and I'm like, bullshit. You're Chinese? Yep. Uh huh. And one thing I know about the Chinese, as an example, you're not hurting for people because people they have plenty of. Close to 2 billion of them. So people is not a concern. So I've had some of my bosses, I've had some of my supervisors, I've had some other people, you know, and they start complaining about strife, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I call bullshit. Bullshit. I bet you, as soon as you put up a sign saying I'm in business, friggin' people lined up, or people are thrown your way, being signed up left, right, and center. Don't give me this bullshit about the fact that you had difficulty finding customers or clients. Bullshit. Because that's the way it is. I don't care where you're from. The Arabs are that way. The Asians are that way. I mean, but heaven forbid, you won't find that in the Caucasian community. The white man, so to speak, or whatever. You won't find that in that capacity because the thing is that if any people of Caucasianness, you know, get together, the perception is it's for racist type bad stuff, or at least that's how we're going to spin it. Because collectively, you wouldn't want to give a fair shake to those people because, well, we've seen what happens in history. Again, all perception, which makes it really difficult for people like myself, you know, midlife area type thing, and being in my midlife years and larger side, etc., etc., and no community, no social network in the sense of a true sense of social network, no commonality networking points like sporting activities or whatever. So I'm kind of left to my own vices. And when these people run up on me like, oh, why aren't you succeeding? Why aren't you succeeding? I'm like, listen, motherfucker, I don't have quote unquote community in that sense because it's frowned upon. Okay? Look at all these people that are being successful. We both started at the same start line. Okay? Same start line. Mr. Asian guy over here, tons of customers or clientele. Mr. Arab over here. You got Mr. freaking Brazilian over here. You got all these freaking people. I'm like, fuck off. Like, seriously. Yes, we all started at the same start line, but the thing is that you have this backing coming from your neck of the woods. People you don't even know. It's national pride or whatever. Okay, great. Don't tell me you worked hard on this bullshit. Don't tell me that. All right? Don't tell me that. Am I racist? No, I'm not freaking racist. I'm realist. I'm a realistic. I mean, shit. The writing's on the fucking wall. Oh, I worked hard. No, you didn't fucking work hard. You called your uncle or your aunt. Spread the word. They play games with community leaders, blah, 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 blah. Before you know, you have 1,000,001 people on your freaking roster. Don't tell me you fucking worked hard. Perception, I agree. Some people might like to argue this fact. But when you look at a handful of new people in a particular industry, and they're like, wow, they're so successful, they must have really moved it and worked hard and everything else, I call bullshit. Let's psychoanalyze. Let's dig a little deeper into these individuals that are successful. Okay, so this guy over here comes from a family who has a quote unquote construction business in Brazil. Uh-huh. Construction. You might as well be in sanitation in friggin' New York. Okay? There's a name for that. Mm-hmm. And the same buddy who's been successful, he doesn't have the fears of losing because he's got a comfy little cushion of finances behind him. If he fails, he fails. Oh well, rent's still getting paid, bills are still getting paid, and he doesn't have a family to worry about. So yeah, he's a little more nonchalant about shit. And then you got Miss Chinese Chickie over here who made it up to a position that she's an authority now. Okay, you come from a legacy into this business that's already established, that already has a name. Oh, but you try to branch out on your own to make your own legacy. Okay, that's awesome. But that doesn't change the fact that you're rolled up in a Mercedes SUV and wearing designer clothes. You're not hurting. You're not. You don't have to make one friggin' dime. You're still not hurting. You can just have fun with it. It's like playing house. You don't care. You have the financial backing. You have the resources. I mean, this is the shit that being up against. Again, from my perception, is frustrating because these people don't see it. From their perception, they don't see it. They don't connect the dots, or they think that other people are not going to be smart enough to be able to connect the dots and see the truth for what it is. Which, wow, you got pretty freaking stupid or naive to think that. They don't think that people are going to connect the dots. Hi, I already know about your history, and I could already connect the dots. From my perception, it looks pretty obvious. Don't give me the sob story about how you don't have this, don't have that, don't have these resources, everything else. Don't give me that shit. Now, who is hurting? I'll tell you who's hurting. Because I've seen how hurt they look on their face. Because I can see how frustrated they are because they don't have this networking backing or the financial backing that they have to succeed. Oh, I'm talking about the good old down-to-earth individual that comes from a part of the country who, where the people are known to be wholesome and true and friendly and everything else. And this fucker is just so bitter. He is so frustrated. Less than 2 years in, he's like pulling his freaking, because you know what? Everything he does means something to him because he has responsibilities. He has a family to support. And his perception is, holy crap. And he can't say it. He doesn't want to air it. He doesn't want to verbally say it, but he's bitter inside because he sees it. He sees the writing on the wall. He tries to hitch his wagon to one of these cocksuckers that actually has all these resources in order to hopefully get somebody to, back him. But he's bitter. Holy crap, is he bitter. And it's weird, but you're not used to seeing that from certain people of certain backgrounds. And this guy's bitter. But also give me a realistic viewpoint. Oh shit. Do I want to be this guy in another year or so? because I could see me being this guy, be even more bitter than where I'm at now. You know, perception, people. Just because your perception, you're viewing it like freaking rainbows coming out of unicorns' asses and everything else, and you think it's all peaches and cream and blah blah blah. Okay, that's great. That's great. I'm glad that you see it that way, but you got to understand, the rest of the world's not seeing it that way. So you might want to step back a little and looking at certain situations. When you're actually making up your mind that a certain situation is a certain way, now I want you to step back and try to think about other possible perceptions. Because yes, you see it a certain way. You're seeing it how you've concluded so easily a certain way. Now, think about it. Could that be the only way it's going to be seen? Because that's what I do. When I see a situation, I'm like, okay, I see it that way. But what if? Okay, what if? And then I start thinking about, okay, what other conditions could put that particular perception I have to be different? Because that gives you a little bit better view of things. It might give you a better insight as to other people as well. Because don't think just because you see things a certain way that everybody's seeing it the same way. Because it's going to give you an up in the sense that it's going to help you get a more realistic view on how people are perceiving you. All right, perceiving where you're coming from. Also, a better, way of dealing with people because, they're seeing it that they're seeing things like a certain way, not just in relation to you, but viewing a particular issue. So it'll almost be safer to like you can have that guesswork and thinking, okay, well, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that, and everything else. But maybe asking people that you are curious about their viewpoint and perception. Asking, so what do you think of the situation? How did you view that type of thing? It's not intrusive, it's not aggressive, but you're basically saying, hey, give me a little insight as to how you perceive that situation. Because you might be amazed by what you find, you know. And don't offer up your viewpoint because, there are a large amount of sheeps out there. And sheep people will just follow along with what everybody else is doing or is thinking or whatever. But no. Ask them. Don't volunteer, but ask them. How did you view that? What did you think about that? Because I see a lot of people, and a lot of times you got to base it on their actions. Your perception changes when it comes to situations based on people's actions. Their words are one thing, but I learned a long time ago that words are full of shit. Actions speak louder than words, and I've always heard that, and I've always believed that because it's true. Actions do speak louder than words. You can give me all lip service that you want in the friggin' world, right? Give me all the friggin' lip service whatsoever, and that's just a bunch of hot air. Your actions, that speaks volumes to me, right? That speaks volumes to me. So perception, it's an interesting thing. Don't think you're in the right. Don't think it's only your way you're viewing things. That's the way it is. As I said, two people could be looking at the same scene happening in front of them and both see it completely different ways. So before you start jumping to conclusions, and it doesn't mean your perception is right and theirs is wrong, just before you start jumping to conclusions, you might want to get all the facts from everybody. Just think to know how everybody's viewing things, right? Now me, yes, am I getting closer to being bitter? I kind of am, because of the decisions I made. The brochure was a lot more colorful and exciting than the actual reality of things. So it's making me really sit back and go, yeah, don't know about that. But I have to admit, it was the way my perception was. And my perception was it was exciting. So, with my perception being exciting and something I could do, I did it. And it was fun. And I saw potential. I really did. But now, regardless of what my perception was, I'm seeing a little bit more of a reality. And I'm sitting there going, huh, okay, yeah, I don't know about that. Really makes me wonder. Really makes me wonder. Because, you know, anyways, that's about it for today. Just keep in mind when it comes to perception, just the way you view the world does not mean everybody else is viewing the world the same way. And also, I said, really try to think about how everybody else could view things. Because it's not, you know, there's always people that are watching and there's always the inquisitive types. Not everybody's going to buy into whatever, you know, at first glance is being sold. And you're not going to change people's minds on that. If they perceive something a certain way, they're going to stick with that because to them, that's the reality. Just like the way you perceive something, that's the reality. You can't change it. You can't say they're wrong. You can't say you're right. You have to keep in mind there's going to be different angles of looking at things. Perception. So, and you know what? If you have a better grip on perception, it's a better form of communication because it's going to help you understand people a little better and the world a little better. And hopefully that'll work towards world peace. Hopefully that will work towards having a better world if we actually stop and think about everybody else's perception on a situation and consider all the angles and exchange notes. We might just be further along as a species. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Mad Morgan. This has been. What did we decide on this one? Car musings? Something along those lines? Anyways, it's been another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in for next one. Subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. Keep you around a little. You know, maybe one day I'll get more than 10 people actually following my channels, but either way, I don't care. I'm still getting my word out, still trying to make a difference. So, all right, love you all. See you next episode. Bye for now. Oh, hold on a second. Let me just park and then I'll say the bye for now. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So I don't run into the garage. There you go. All right. Ciao for now. See you next episode.